Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we are doing a 12 by 12 layout using the new Amber Autumn collection from Fancy Pants Design. I had recently did the unboxing for this collection, and now we are going to do the first layout in which I shall do 12 by 12. And you know I was going to use this beautiful floral paper for my first one. Even though the one also with the like retro flowers, this one was also calling my name. So maybe we'll do two 12 by 12 because this is really pretty too. So my idea though for this already was that, bummer, it was in the center. So you could put a photo on here, not a problem, right? But for me, I was also thinking like if I cut a circle out, you know, and have the wreath, the flowers aren't on the outside. And then I was like, oh, should I cut them all out and create a wreath, you know, on the outside, like, and arrange them to be a circle? And that could work too, because they have pretty good lines. You know, some of these that are behind would get lost, but that could work. Then I thought, well, maybe if I just do half the page, I was like, okay, half the page, and cut that out, I can do maybe a little mixed media blending motion and then have something to the top, and that could work too. But then I had this like aha moment when I'm looking at it, and I was like, well, if I'm going to cut that there, I was like, maybe I could use then the part I cut to the top. And then I was like, oh, well, that would be perfect, because at least then it gives you more of a distinguished area in the middle where the flowers are on the outside. And I was like, oh, like I could totally do that too, you know? And then the one step further too was to do it like via the side. So if I cut it this way, put this half here, so you'll have this kind of there, and then connect this side over here. And that could work too, because you have the photo area here. And then the last one I was thinking, what if you just did it all in the 6 by 6? Because remember, I wanted the flowers on the outside. And then just arrange each corner. So this one would, like, you know, there. And then the flowers would all be in the corners, because I would just rearrange them. And again, you put your your photo in the center. So all of those, I was like, yes, that's what we're doing. So first, let's cut it down. I kind of like down the middle. Maui, stop crying. Down the middle, and that way, let's see what it looks like there. And if that already looks good to kind of designate where the photos should go, I'll leave it. But if not, we'll cut them into the quads, to half 4 6 by 6, and arrange them so that the flowers go into the corners. That's where I was thinking. So let's get chopping and see what this turns out to. Okay, so let's get started with just cutting it down in half, 6 inches, and swapping out those sides. Now that alone right there does look good. Like I said, it gives you the orientation where photos would go in the middle, and here I am auditioning it out. That does look good. But for me, I was just kind of like, well, let's just go see what happens if I cut it into the 4 squares and put all the flowers into the corners and see how that looks. And then when I did that, I was like, yeah, I like that better. So, you know, it's good to see how you can use papers in a different way, because if you had written it off just with this big old floral in the middle, you would have not seen the potential if you cut it into 4 6-inch squares and then just rearrange the arrangement so that the flowers were in the corners instead. But you saw, it was a progress to come to this point. Like, it wasn't just like, oh, I saw it and I was like, oh, I'm just going to cut it up like I would always do and just have this, you know, brilliant idea. You saw how, you know, the thinking process goes, at least for me, and how I audition things out. So I just put it on some basil white cardstock. This is probably coconut swirl. My basil cardstock I always pick up at Joann's. Joann's will occasionally have a sale for 10 for $3, and I always get like $9 worth of it. So here I am auditioning a white square of cardstock, and then I had this like metallic gold. And I like that metallic gold. Like, the white work too, only because sometimes with collections, I'll be honest, when they have their ephemera pack and stuff, and the collections are always like so rich with color like this, I dislike when the die cuts have that white border around everything. Oh, it drives me batty. Like,
soap. Like, so all those white little edges, ugh, I just wish they weren't there. Especially with a layout like this, which is why I did try out the white first, because I was like, well, there's white. Let me just have it pop like it almost looks like a frame. And it did work. Again, an option. So if you do any of these, like anything that I have inspired you, the white works too. I just happened to have gold metallic paper. I think this was on a scrap pile, and I had a big enough square. I think it was a little bit bigger than 6x6. And it worked. So I cut down my 4x6 photo to be almost around 5 inches. The photo is of me and my daughter. We like to waste time sometimes and play on Snapchat filters. This is a Snapchat filter that I really liked, and it gives you glasses and the little bear ears, and I was just like, oh my god, let me take one by myself. That's how that picture came to be. And so then I'm just arranging a few of the die cuts. Some of the fern leaves and the foliage, the flowers look really great. And then popping up some of the sentiments on some fun foam so that there's dimension. Also making sure I balance out my cluster and have an embellishment cluster on the lower right portion of it as well, since I have them all like cascading on the left, just to get some balance on there. I decided to go with a title that says Wild at Heart or something like that. Yeah, Wild at Heart. Simply because some of the other sentiments did not work for just a simple selfie moment. And some of them were just a little bit too fall. And if you know, I live in Florida, so fall doesn't have the same punch as it does in the northern states. Down here, it's still summer. We go pumpkin pumpkin picking in 95-degree heat. Still down here, it is what it is, but I wouldn't trade where I live for the world. So in order to jazz up my layout a little bit more, I took out a lot of my stickles that are in different colors. You remember I hauled a lot of these from A Cherry on Top not too long ago. And then, so I'm adding gold, I'm adding a little bit, this is just gold, so plain gold. I add a little bit of the color Grapefruit, which is like an orangey iridescent one. That's the one I'm working with now. And then I go in with my Nuvo drops as well, my glitter Nuvo drops. So the glitter ones, or Nuvo drops in general, if you know, they give you the, not to say illusion, but illusion of an enamel dot. So they will dry as if you added on the enamel stickers. And so I'm just going around dotting up some of the ferns and some of the centers of flowers just to add some texture and some bling. This detail wasn't needed, but it adds so much sparkle to the layout, and it's fantastic.
Okay, I think that will wrap it up. This has to dry now with all those Nuvo drops and stickles. Oh, can you see all the glitter? Woohoo! And then the metal, from the gold there, it looks so cool. And then all the Nuvo. Just spicing up the background, just spicing up that background. Oh, look at that. Oh yeah, that's sparkly. All right, thank you so much for joining me. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. Give this video a thumbs up, it always helps. And until next time, everyone, bye!